This episode is sponsored by our friends at Fiverr. Fiverr connects you with a diverse and first-class pool of freelance talent with a specialty in digital services. We're getting closer to finishing up the bed in Babish, so I wanted to go to Fiverr and get an idea of what some interior designs could look like once it's finished. Fiverr made it easy for me to look through portfolios and connect with a highly rated designer who could mock up 3D visuals. This is what my freelancer put together for me. I was so impressed with the high quality and budget-friendly talent pool. Most of the time, these projects get pushed down my list because sourcing reputable specialists can be quite difficult, so Fiverr helps me take time back and move forward. With Fiverr's personalized one-to-one consultations, you can always find ways to connect beyond the inbox with your freelancer. So if you're looking to enlist some help for upcoming design projects or any digital need, head to fvrr.co/Babish to check out the services available to you and get 10% off with code Babish.
Should I try it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God.
Right?
It's very good.
I knew you'd love it.
Damn.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Binging with Babish, where this week we're taking a look at the Everything Bagel with logs from Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the television series. First up, a New York style Everything Bagel. First, we're going to make a pre-ferment, combining 250 grams of bread flour, 1 teaspoon active dry yeast, and 250 ml of room temperature water. Mix until fully hydrated and let rest at room temperature for 4 to 24 hours. This is going to give our bagels both better flavor and structure. The next day, we're combining 450 more grams of bread flour and our pre-ferment in the bowl of a stand mixer. It should smell malty and yeasty like a brewery and have a pleasant alien-like viscosity. Make sure you get every last glop of it because this is our only source of moisture in the dough. We're also going to add 25 grams of malt barley syrup and 10 grams of kosher salt. You could also use honey, agave syrup, or even corn syrup in place of the barley malt. Start mixing for 10 minutes on medium-low speed, adding 1 to 3 tablespoons of water if things are starting to look too shaggy. Like most any bread dough, we want this stuff to pass the window pane test, stretchable enough that light can pass through it without tearing. Yank it out and lubricate the bowl with a little bit of nonstick spray, drop it back in, punch for good luck, and it's time for the first proof, covering with a wet towel and letting sit at room temperature for anywhere from 1 to 2 hours until doubled in size. Now it's ready to become bagels. First, we're going to weigh the dough mass. Mine was about 1 kilo, and for big old New York bagels, we're going to divide them evenly into 8 pieces, rolling each one into a taut ball, either by rolling it against the table or pressing it through your hands like a magic trick, or both. The objective here is for it to be as round and smooth as possible. Cover with a moist towel, let sit for 10 minutes, and we're ready to form. Now there are 2 schools of thought here. The easy way is to just punch a hole in the middle, rolling between 2 fingers, stretching it out into a bagel. But these are New York style bagels, which means they're going to get rolled. We're going to start by rolling the dough out to about a 10-inch length with tapered edges. Then we're going to twist each end in the opposite direction, fold it over our hand, and join the 2 tapered edges together, pressing and rolling to seal them shut and re-emphasize the twist. I'm going to do both to see if this technique makes any discernible difference. Once all your balls are bagels, you can either cover and let them rise for another 1 to 2 hours before boiling and baking, or you can cold ferment them, covering with oiled plastic wrap and refrigerating for 1 to 3 days. By day 3, you're going to have a much better flavor and a shatteringly crunchy, blistered crust. Whether they're straight out of the fridge or straight after their second proof, they're getting boiled in about 2 liters of water, mixed with 1 tablespoon each barley malt syrup and baking powder. Add the baking powder slowly if you don't want a middle school science project on your hands. Once the foaming subsides, we're going to gently retrieve a bagel, taking extra care if they're stuck to one another. Then we're dropping it upside down into the boiling bagel formula, allowing to boil spiritedly for 20 seconds on each side. Give them a flip, 20 more seconds, and scoop them out onto a wire rack set in a rim baking sheet. Then, while they're still steaming hot, they're headed straight into a 425-degree Fahrenheit oven on the very lowest rack for about 25 minutes, rotating the tray halfway through and optionally flipping over during the last 5 minutes of cooking for a nice, even, all-around well-browned bagel. As you can see, the cold ferment has rewarded us with a leopard print-like blister pattern, but did all that twisting and or shouting make any discernible difference? Apart from a slightly wonkier shape that can mostly be attributed to my lack of skill, they do have a different crumb structure. The twisted bagel on the right has almost a circular pattern to it. This could, of course, affect texture, but both were pretty crunchy, pretty chewy, pretty awesome. So go ahead and shape your bagels however you damn well please. Just don't expect New Yorkers to be happy about it, or anything for that matter. The only step left that remains is making it an everything bagel, combining roughly equal parts white and black sesame seeds, caraway seed, garlic chips, onion chips, poppy seeds, and some big flaky salt. Toss together, and then immediately after boiling the bagels, invert them directly into the topping station. Gotta say that looks an awful lot like I'm putting sprinkles on a donut. Even if you burn your little fingers trying to press the bagels into the topping, some is still gonna fall off, so don't be afraid to press extra with firmness into the top of the bagel. Same oven, same temp, same time, but a wildly different bagel experience. Sorry, I just wanted to say that. And now we're going to take a crack at something I've always wanted to try and make, salmon lox. This requires a super simple brine of equal parts kosher salt and sugar, and of course salmon, high quality salmon. It's being served cured but effectively raw, so make sure that it's wild caught and fishmongered. Also, so you can ask them to do the annoying part, removing the pin bones. Sprinkle evenly and prolifically with the salt and sugar mixture, making sure at every facet has some generous snowfall, patting it in, and wrapping tightly in plastic wrap, folding upwards so that it doesn't leak. Then we have to weigh it down, so I'm gonna hit it with another baking sheet and some various pieces of cast iron. Lift with your legs, not with your back. And then, just like the bagels, this guy's headed into the fridge for 3 full days, in which time you'll find that it's leaked in spite of your best intentions. That's why we do this on a rimmed baking sheet. And the salmon itself has sort of contracted and grown darker in color and shinier. Give it a thorough rinse under cold water and then a thorough patting under paper towels. Flip it skin side down on a wire rack set in a rim baking sheet and let it sit uncovered in the fridge for about 30 minutes to dry out. Then, using your very longest, very sharpest knife, we're going to slice across the grain of the fish on a dramatic angle into slices as thin as we can possibly manage. These guys can be wrapped up airtight and kept in the fridge for up to 3 days. Last but not least, cream cheese, or in this case, imitation cream cheese. I'm heating 1 liter of whole milk to a bare simmer, then adding 3 tablespoons of white vinegar and gently stirring. Almost immediately, you're going to start seeing curds form. Kill the heat, cover them up, and let them sit for 5 minutes. Then we're going to drain them in cheesecloth. Now at this point you might be saying, Babish, you're just making ricotta. To which I would say, yes I am. But cream cheese is both ubiquitously available and extremely hard to make at home. And super smooth, super whipped ricotta is a fine substitute. To which you'd say, I'm from Philadelphia. And I'd say, uh-oh. And you'd say, my father worked on the cream cheese line until the day he died. This is not only an affront to his legacy, but to that of the entire city of brotherly love. Then I'd say that cream cheese was actually invented in New York State, but this imaginary conversation is getting way out of hand. And besides, it's bagel time. We're slicing these guys in half and admiring their beautiful crumb structure, toasting briefly but with confidence, and depending on your preference, thinly slicing some red onions or tomatoes, and draining some capers. The bagel in question is served sandwich style in the show, so I'm going to spread a generous layer of cream cheese on one side of the bagel. Not New York generous, bear in mind, which is often more cream cheese than bagel. Top with our salmon lox, thinly sliced onions, forget about the tomatoes in the fridge, and top with drained dried capers. And there you have it, an everything bagel with lox in sandwich formation. But personally I like my bagel and lox in open face format. This gives me one side plain, one side everything, so that I get a little bit more variety in my life. Plus it makes an absolute mess of my beard, which in my experience means that something tastes good, and this tastes real good. Good enough to make a spy start eating breakfast. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks again to Fiverr for sponsoring today's video. Whether you're looking for someone to build websites, edit videos, manage social, provide AI solutions, or even design your interior spaces, Fiverr is a one-stop shop to find solutions customized to your budget and needs. Head to fvrr.co/Babish to check out the services available to you and get 10% off with code Babish.